My book, Triangle X Squared Circle, the wrestling video game compendium, is live on Kickstarter right now. In breaking news, we've hit the funding goal. So this book does officially exist, this book is officially being published, and there are still stretch goals, so if you haven't grabbed your copy yet and you want one, feel free to do so. Thank you so much to everyone who has grabbed a copy. Seriously, this thing only exists because of you. Now let's get to Mortal Kombat.
And now for our feature presentation.
I think modern Mortal Kombat and modern professional wrestling suffer from the exact same problem. And today I'm going to explain exactly what the hell that means. Do you remember the good old days of gaming? You know what I mean, right? The good old days. Running as fast as you can as Sonic the Hedgehog, inevitably smashing into an enemy or Spike, and you drop all your rings, and then it's a mad dash to get at least one of them back as insurance for your next mistake. Jumping into the air as Mario and landing on a Koopa Troopa, popping his shell out of town and watching it go. Playing as Sub-Zero and grabbing your opponent's throat and ripping their head clean off with the spinal cord still attached. You know what I'm talking about. The good old days. And these were the good old days, weren't they? Before wireless controllers and microtransactions and 9/11. Now Sonic is frontiering, or he's doing whatever the hell this is. He's making movies anyway. He doesn't have time for the days of 2D rings. Mario is odysseying, and he's making movies too. The 8 and 16-bit Koopa shells are long gone. And Sub-Zero, look at this.
Sub-Zero wins. Fatality.
And I guess it should also be noted that Sub-Zero is making movies as well. Jesus Christ, this is where we are now, huh? Has the violence in Mortal Kombat gone too far? And make no mistake, I'm not coming at this from the standpoint of, oh, I find it offensive now, or, oh, now I find it gross. No, I'm saying I think there's a conversation to be had over whether or not we've hit the point of diminishing returns. The pro wrestling comparison won't mean much to some of you, but the rest of you who are wrestling fans, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about, and you might find yourselves finishing my sentences. And don't worry, for you non-wrestling fans, I am going to get extremely detailed on exactly what it is that I'm talking about. I got you covered. So what we're gonna do is look at the way fatalities have evolved over the last 30 plus years. We were always killing our opponents, with some techniques appearing a little more brutal than others, but over time, fatalities have turned into like a 7-step process, and seriously, the other guy was dead after step 1. Is this all really necessary? Good lord. And yes, I know this is a very annoying episode to have to censor, but as I've stated 100 times, YouTube will kill the video and hit my channel with a strike if I don't blur these things. Either I do it like this or I don't do Mortal Kombat at all. Take your pick. The uncensored version, as always, is over on Patreon. If you care that much about the juice, that version of the video does exist. And for those of you watching that version, I thank you for your support. Every video here on 616 Entertainment is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed the show here today, consider signing up. You'll get early access, exclusive videos and podcasts, and more. Pro Wrestling Tees has the merch. As always, thank you for watching. You know what fatalities are, right? You get the picture. It's a death move. It's a finisher. It's a murder. I'm not supposed to say that on YouTube. Whoops. You're killing the other fighter to make sure they never come back again. Unless there's an endurance fight later on in the arcade ladder and the game needs more characters to pull from. Then we have to pretend we never killed them or something. Look, we're not concerned with the permanence or the aftermath. We're focused on the art of the kill. Scorpion breathes, fire, scorching away your flesh. Raiden's electrical abilities grant him the power to pop your head like that Jagoff from Halloween 6. Jump into the sequel, Mortal Kombat 2, and now everybody's got 2 fatalities. Liu Kang transforming into a dragon and biting the opponent in half? Iconic. Kung Lao raises the bar for greatest of all time here with his vertical slice. The exposed rib cage, man. Hard to beat. Mortal Kombat 3 sprinkled in a bit of comedy. Why is Jax able to grow like 400 feet tall? If he can do this, why is Earthrealm having any trouble with Shao Kahn's invasion? Why doesn't Jax just trample Khan's tower like Godzilla? I don't know. Let's take a massive leap. Almost 10 years later, Mortal Kombat Deception. Scorpion uses his spear to rip limbs off before callously strolling over to break your neck and wrap it up. Do you see what's happening here? Some of these fatalities are flashy. Some of them are simple. We even have a little bit of comedy thrown into the mix with Jax in Mortal Kombat 3. It's all good. What's happening is this. The fighter on offense is getting the job done. It's like a band-aid. Rip it off. Done with it. Now let's take a look at a couple fatalities from 2011's Mortal Kombat, MK9 as we all call it. I'm not going to talk over them. Just take a look at these and tell me what you see.
Finish him.
Watch this.
Johnny Cage wins. Fatality. Finish him.
Too easy.
Jade wins. Fatality. Kratos wins. Fatality.
What we're dealing with here is overkill, and that's a term that's thrown around all over the place in a figurative sense, sure, but today we can apply it quite literally. Let's replay the Johnny Cage fatality. Uppercut the head off. Classic. He's dead. What the fuck are you ripping him in half for? Who do you think that hurts? He's dead. He has no head on his body. And this is not just a Johnny Cage thing. Look at Scorpion. Dead. Double dead. Jesus Christ alive, Hanzo, he's gone. It's over. The best fatalities in Mortal Kombat 9 are the ones that don't dip into this level of post-mortem punishment. Here, let me show you. First, let's watch Kung Lao overdo it. Is this cool? Sure, but it's redundant. Now let's look at his other fatality.
Finish him. Kung Lao wins. Fatality.
I'll kiss your ass if that's not one of the all-time greats. Nobody wants to think about what it's like to endure what that fighter just went through. It's painful, it's suffering, it's something we would all like to avoid if at all possible. And if there's anybody who can one-up it, it's Noob Saibot.
Noob Saibot wins. Fatality.
That's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I still hate this fatality to this day. It bothers me quite a bit. Yes, the vertical spinning razor hat slicing me at the schwanz, I don't like that. Please don't make me think about that. But this, getting split at the gooch like a wishbone? No. No, thank you. And why is it that we don't like it? Because it looks painful. It's the art of the kill. The opponent is screaming in agony until the final moment where death sets in. We're building up to a climax. There's a beginning, middle, and end. It's a logical progression. It's a story being told in the shape of a brutal murder. What's not to love? Moving further on down the line, Mortal Kombat X took this idea of the overkill, of finishing off your opponent and then continuing to mutilate their body, and brought it to a new level. Some of these are just insane.
Raiden wins. Fatality. Liu Kang wins. Fatality. Sub-Zero wins. Fatality.
But now I want to get into the pro wrestling comparison that I mentioned earlier. And again, wrestling fans, you are going to see what I'm saying. You might have trouble not seeing it afterwards, but you're going to see it. Non-wrestling fans, again, don't worry. I got you. Back in the day, a finishing move was exactly that. It was a finisher. It ended the match. More often than not, the Stone Cold Stunner was the end of the road. Now, would The Rock and Austin kick out of each other's finishers on the grandest stage of them all? Sure, but it was special because it was rare. It was WrestleMania. Both guys were in their prime, both guys at their best. In a match between two guys like this, there's a structure. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end to a match like this. There's lots of punching and kicking. You're going to get your suplexes thrown in there. And when that stuff doesn't work, you can expect guys at this level to pull out submission moves, bending and trying to break the bones of the guy standing in the way of you winning the WWF Championship. Come on, we can all understand this, right? That's when they dust off the finishers. Stunner. Bring in the other guy. Show me a tombstone. Sweet chin music. Pedigree. Scorpion death drop. Flying elbow. Sharpshooter. These moves meant the shit was a wrap. They don't break out these moves for no reason. And again, most of the time, this was the end. Sting didn't hit somebody with a Scorpion death drop and then pick them up, hit them in the chest with a chair so that they would turn around and they'd kick their leg out of their leg and then pick them up again and put on a sleeper hold for a little bit and then let him spin around, put on a nerve hold, and then pick him upside down and hit him with a weird backbreaker and go for the pin. No. Scorpion death drop. 1, 2, 3. That's it. See you later. That's what a finishing move is supposed to be. But that was then. Those were the good old days. Remember how I opened this video? It's all coming together. Let's take a look at some of what's going on in wrestling today. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Steel cage match. AEW Revolution 2025. Two extremely talented guys. I think both are future world champions. I'm not saying these guys suck or they're bad. Let's just be clear about that. But this match, unfortunately, is the epitome of what I don't like about wrestling today. We've got huge moves. Cool. I love huge moves. We've got blood. Great. I love blood. Let's not draw this out. Let's get to it. Nearly 30 minutes into this horrifically violent cage match, they get all the way to the top of this dangerous structure. Will Ospreay hits a backflip slam all the way down into the ring. This move is called Spanish Fly. And they're both dead. Fatality, right? Unbelievable. Except that's not the end. They both wake up at the same time. Despite Will being the guy who did the damage and Kyle being the guy who suffered the damage, they both wake up together. At no point did Will attempt to win the match after this jaw-dropping move. Instead, it was all a setup for a running elbow. And that's it. No, that's not it. The running elbow was a setup for this third step. This is a tiger driver. Only now is the match over. Even my non-wrestling fans, you see it, right? How are you gonna hit a backflip rock bottom off the top of the cage and it's not the fatality? It's just the first step in this convoluted, overthought, overdone, overkill of an ending. You see it, right? Here's another one, also AEW. Jon Moxley gets suplexed onto a 2x4 with fucking nails sticking out of it. This is something Leatherface would use to kill somebody. Why is this in a wrestling match? I don't know. But anyway, Mox got suplexed onto the nails. They're fucking real, so they puncture his skin. And this weapon, in real life, is now stuck in his back, and everyone around the ring is panicking because they can't get it out and they don't know what to do or how bad it is. Long story short, Edge never uses this to try and win. Minutes go by, and eventually Edge hits his finishing move through a table. This is also not the end of the match. Nearly 10 other people get involved, and at the end of the day, Jon Moxley wins. We had never seen a man get impaled on nails in a wrestling ring in our lives. That had never happened before, and they had the opportunity to take something that was so crazy and make it memorable. And then they did like 8 other things, and this crazy moment got completely lost in the shuffle. You see it, right? And the point of it wasn't even the end of the match leads us perfectly out of pro wrestling territory and back into Mortal Kombat. Because fatalities aren't the only area of overkill. Returning to Mortal Kombat 9, X-ray moves made their big debut here. These were awesome. These were like super grapple moves that did a ton of damage. They did so much damage that you needed to triple fill your fancy little meter over here to even launch one. NetherRealm made sure these could not be spammed. We're seeing broken bones and irreparably damaged organs, you know, the usual. But let's go beyond. Let's jump into Mortal Kombat 11's Fatal Blows, which were really just the evolution of X-ray moves. Good God Almighty, these are ridiculous. These are beyond not just the fatalities of the first or second Mortal Kombat. These are crazier than a lot of what we were seeing as finishing moves, even into like Deception. And we have to ask a few questions at this juncture. The first being, does this matter at all? Do you even think about things like this? Does it bother you to see bones shattered and brains blended, and then our fighters just get up and go back to work as if nothing happened? Does that bother you? Or do you just see this as a complete and total fantasy, and you're watching this right now going, holy fuck, does this guy overthink everything? And that's fine. I accept it if that is your read on this situation. But I did not intend to just ask you here, where you'd have to respond to me after the conversation is over down in the comments. I actually asked you guys directly in the 616 Entertainment Discord and over on Patreon. Here are some responses. Captain McKay is cool with how the violence has gotten crazier and crazier, but is annoyed with how long the fatal blows have gotten, which is totally fair. Bauer J379 has 0 complaints and a nice dog. Tony Dugmore has a problem with the violin. Eric Sheldon misses when fatalities weren't nearly a minute long. Tadeo Anaya couldn't care less about the story these days and shows up strictly for the gore. All of these answers were pretty consistent in that the vast majority of you don't want anything major to change. Even with the continued escalation, things are going pretty much exactly how you want them to, according to the results of the poll I posted over on Patreon. Two people who really understood where I was coming from with the concept for this episode were Chief Salty and Gwenoki. Salty appreciates that the guest characters who appear as DLC are all performing fatalities that fit who they are. And this, above anything else, I think, is what's most important. The move in question, be it a fatality or a fatal blow or whatever, it has to work. It has to fit who it's attached to. The thought put into the action is indeed very important. This is where Gwenoki named the specific fatality I had in mind when I first started putting the script together. Let's take a look.
This is gonna be my most epic kill ever.
It is doubtful you can best a god.
Finish him.
What? Oh, come on! This is bullshit! He's a dude with a knife!
Fatality. Ghostface wins.
Boiling it down to its core, nothing crazy is happening here at all. In a world of triple and quadruple overkills, Ghostface is literally just stabbing people. He's just a dude with a knife is the perfect example of what I'm saying here. The level of violence is not nearly as important as the design and performance. Let me paint this another way. In Mortal Kombat X, Sonya Blade is not satisfied with simply decapitating her opponent. She instead has her drone blast the severed head with fully automatic machine guns before keeping the now blood-soaked but fleshless skull as a trophy for her belt. I don't really understand several steps of this process, but the lasting image is the most perplexing. Sonya is not a sport hunter. She's not the Predator. She's in the Special Forces. She's military. This, to me, does not feel like something Sonya would actually do. It doesn't fit. The level of violence is there. It's extremely gory, but this feels like it should be performed by somebody else. Let's move back one game to Mortal Kombat 9. Scarlet's fatalities, both of them, are relatively tame in regards to mutilation and gore, but in practice, in performance, these are maybe two of the most fitting fatalities in Mortal Kombat history. She's a blood mage. This is her game. She doesn't need to overcompensate with 12 different steps and setups, you know? And back into the modern, Mortal Kombat 1. Even those of you who don't like this game, the fatalities are usually pretty goddamn good in both violence and performance. I love Ermac separating the soul from the physical body and literally tossing the human form aside like I don't have any interest in this. His mouth elongates as he siphons the opponent's essence from the universe. Dude. Fire God Liu Kang opening up a black hole in time and space, having the other guy completely obliterated into the void. You kidding me? This is something only a god, only the master of all things could do something like this. Look, I'm not going to go through all of them, but MK1 really hits the mark in this regard, more often than not. Whether it's drops, buckets, gallons, or barrels of blood, I think the level of gore pales in importance to performance and presentation. So what have we learned here today? Has the violence in Mortal Kombat gone too far? Do modern Mortal Kombat and modern professional wrestling indeed suffer from the exact same problem? Through super long fatal blows and overkill fatalities, has Mortal Kombat lost the plot? And is presentation and performance more important than the level of gore? I'll let you decide. You tell me what your takeaway from today's episode is down in the comments. I did not come here today to tell you how to think or feel. I've literally come to you asking how you feel and what you think. And I'd appreciate if you'd be willing to share with the class.
Finish him.
Thank you for watching Mortal Kombat Monday, and hey, I know you're tired of hearing about it, but my book, Triangle X Squared Circle, the Wrestling Video Game Compendium, is available for 2 more days on Kickstarter. After this campaign ends, that's it. This is not going to be in stores. I am not famous. You're not going to find my shit at Barnes & Noble, alright? This is it. Thank you so much for the support that's come in already. We've already hit funding, and I appreciate this to no end. I can't wait for you guys to get your copies. Until next time, I love you, and I will see you soon.